I don't want to hear that kind of talk in here. Look, it's not that bad. It could be worse. Imagine if you had... Imagine for a second that you have on your team Jordan Smith, Jerry Robin, Alex Martin, and I don't know, pick an all-star, because that's somebody I know's team. Couldn't be me though. Couldn't be me though. Oh, I had Robin. You know what though? You know what? Let me just tell you guys, you can be disappointed in your score, but let me tell you a way to help you cope with your score. So I had Jordan Smith on my team with 5 minutes to go, and you know what I said to myself? I want to live dangerously, because Jordan Smith isn't dangerous enough of a pick for me. So I swapped Jordan Smith out stupidly for Jerry Robin. And let me just say, for anybody that's a member of the Patreon that is on the Discord, I said at let's see here, at 6:50 p.m. I said all Jerry needs to do is beat one of those guys to get in, but don't sleep on Alves. He's on JMC now and made it straight through the heat on O2. I'm not saying that you should definitely pick him, but consider that he has a better chance out of that heat than people are likely giving him credit for. And guess who scored 52 points? Do you ever want to take your own advice? Do you ever not take your own advice, or is it just me? I feel like we talked each other into it. We did, Austin. We talked each other into that, and that is the worst thing we can make. Hi, everybody. My name is Donnie. If you've never been here before, this is the RotoMoto Fantasy Post-Race Program. We are not doing any music tonight because I need to figure something out, because the last, 5 live streams, despite me using royalty-free music, it's getting flagged anyway. So I'm going to figure something out, because now that we're part of the YouTube partnership program and we have monetization on, I don't want to keep breaking the rules and potentially get in trouble and lose what little monetization we get. So where are we at? Let me count scores. Chad had 167 with Ferrandis and Muskin. I also had Ferrandis and Muskin. 175, 185. You beat me by 2 points. I got you. I got 161. I lost by 2 points to the here, can I make this a little bit bigger for y'all? Will that help? Would that help? Can I, what if I do this and then I stretch this? Yeah, there we go. We'll fill it up with data. 161. I had Jerry 0. If I would have put in Jordan Smith instead, I still would have only ended up with 163. So it's not that bad. But anyway, so I want you to do that for yourselves. It is important for you. Do not look at the people that weren't even on your radar. That is not healthy, and that does nobody any good. Those of you that are like, I should have picked Alves. Did you even know who he was prior to tonight? Probably not. Don't worry about that. Just compare it to the people that you could have picked and you didn't. I only lost 2 points by swapping out Smith for Jerry Robin. It just be like that. It just be like that. At least this is a week. If you did bad, so did everybody else. I scored 161 and I'm 3700th place. Can I even do this? Wow, because I know Mark's once he starts updating it, sometimes the site doesn't work. Okay, this is my worst of the season, but look at this. In Indy 1, I scored 225 and I was just barely better in ranking than this 161. So it's not all bad. Worse things have happened. Who had A-Ray? Ryan, who had A-Ray? 1.1% of players. Not many. Not many. Jerry and Dylan, man. You know the worst thing? I know who Owls was, and I had him on my short list. I know, Dave. I know. But I'm saying most people. I know. That guy that got 7. There's always some asshole that specifically tries to get the least amount of points possible. There's always somebody that picks, like, they'll pick Jeremy Martin because they know he's out. They'll pick the only reason they get any positive points at all is because they usually have to pick an all-star, and they just try to guess which all-star is going to get the less. It's the stupidest thing. I'm just happy I get. It must be nice, Ryan. My only thing being is between him and whoever you pick this weekend, if they got injured, are they even going to be ready to ride? Like Mooskin, it sucks I'm not going to be able to pick Mooskin next week. No, never mind, because Dylan did so bad that Mooskin is still an all-star, so that's not going to hurt me. That's not going to hurt me. Bless. Yeah, that's Jerry. He tries to get the least. Ryan, you stop it right now. Oh my god, I'm stealing it and I'm making a tweet. I'm stealing it and I'm making a tweet. I'm making a tweet right now. I'm making a tweet right now. I'm stealing it. If you ever wonder who is the guy that has 7 points in Pulp Mex Fantasy, it's Jerry Robin, because he's always trying to get the least amount of points. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Anyway, the French, dude. You know what? I never realized it. The French. What a good race, though. Can we talk about it? Fantasy aside, let's just talk about the race really quick. The 250 main was great. Hammaker getting his first win was rad. The battle between McAdoo and Cooper for those last few laps was really good. You know, the ups and downs of Smith and then him going down. Like, it was just like, it was a really eventful. It was a good race from a spectator standpoint, I think. I will say that, like, the 450 was a little bit of a letdown, other than Anderson and Malcolm. Okay, can we talk about Malcolm Stewart? Screen looks really blurry. Nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. But no one is surprised. No one is surprised. The broadcast is always bad, but the racing was not terrible. I think that Anderson helped make it more interesting. But what was Malcolm's end game of going into Anderson that hard? Because I do not see him. I don't see how he comes out without just both of them being on the ground. And if we're being honest, neither of Anderson's moves were Bush League. Like, you can yourself maybe say, like, that was a little aggressive, but neither one of those was Bush League. Like, those were both pretty good. Those were pretty good. Yeah. Well, dude, and the fact that Malcolm threw himself 10 feet, hit the ground, and slid, I'm shocked he got up and finished it. Let's get this Rutledge. Ryan, my biggest thing is, and let me just say, I don't mind Rutledge Wood as a person. I used to watch, I mean, I watched a lot of the original Top Gear. I watched some American Top Gear. I thought he was fine on that show. I think he's fine, but he doesn't have any place here. They putting a literal comedian, because he's a comedian. Don't get it twisted. He's a comedian that happens to be a car guy. He's not a moto guy. I just don't know what injecting his, like, humor into the broadcast really adds. The fact that during an actual race, he held a pit board out to a rider that is actually in the race that said good job. If I was, who was that? Corbin Hayes. If I was Corbin Hayes, I would come back to the pit and I would punch him right in the face. Like, I just do not get it. I just do not understand. Mookie was deaf piston just in the moment. No, I feel it, but I just don't even think that Anderson's move that he was retaliating for was even that crazy of a move. I don't know. Oh, yeah, Tars definitely not penalized. Absolutely not. I don't think there was anything there. Rudd is okay as a dude, but he does not belong. NBC will probably likely. Oh no, his name is Rut. But yeah, I don't mind the guy. I just don't think that it. I don't know. Are we ever gonna be satisfied? Let's be honest. What is your dream? What is your dream booth? What do you want to see in the booth? Like, I want Emig. Honestly, can I just have Emig and McGrath in the booth? But I know McGrath has other stuff he's doing. That's probably why he's not in the booth because he does his own racing and stuff like that. But man, just give me Emig and McGrath. That's all I want. The pitboard stress cost him the start. Right, Jason? It's possible. Webb is all up in Ken's head. That race was just sloppy by Ken. I don't know, man. It's just really upsetting to see the implosion because it was an implosion. He is imploding bad. He definitely isn't a moto guy, but tonight I thought he asked some general questions an outsider might not know. Yeah, and again, I think I appreciate their thing of trying to bridge the gap between motorsports and like general motorsports and supercross. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. Weege, Mathis, and Donnie. Ryan, that would be, oh man, the dream. Do you really want Steve in the booth though? Oh, like it would be entertaining, but I don't know. I don't know if I would actually want Steve in the booth. But that would be fun though. That'd be cool. Blair and Weege. It's really crazy to me that they just specifically don't want Wygant, and there's a reason, maybe that we just don't, we're not privy to, but I just don't know why they don't want Wygant. A redhead, a blonde, and a black. Yes, there you go, Mike. I love that. Yes, Emig and Diffie or Weege and Blair. Yeah, I really like Lee. I will say though, man, if we're just talking about the broadcast, you might have seen that I posted on Twitter a few stats. There was there was a stat during the pre-show where they said Ken Roczen led the most laps, but he hasn't led a lap in the last 4 rounds. And I immediately in my head had to be like, 4 rounds? He won, and I had to go and look, and I'm like, yeah, 4 rounds ago he led every lap. Like, who the hell are you guys paying? I'll do it for less money. Hire me. I'll do it. NBC, if you're watching this, I know I'm talking mad shit about you right now, but like, hire me. I'm here. I'm ready. Oh, it's not about the booth so much for me. Can we not get pick and pick? God, Ryan, I know I said that when they cut to Hammaker, which I think was appropriate to show him getting his first victory, but I was like, we're really just gonna leave the battle behind? And then you heard the fans, and I was like, oh, something's happening. Something's happening. Oh, there it is. I would love Steve in the booth. He was on the mic at Paula a couple times, and he was really good. Not on the broadcast, but was good. I would love to see, like, and I love Steve, and I don't mean this in a way that I think Steve is fake or anything like that, but like Steve definitely has his. Steve's turned up to 11. He definitely has a persona when he's on like the Pulp Show or when he's doing stuff with Weege and JT for like the pre-show. Like Steve definitely has like a character that he kind of projects a little bit. And I feel like if he was in the booth, he would probably turn that down back a little bit and be more straight. And I'd be interested to hear what that is. Bring on the outdoors, Mark. It was rough, man. It was rough. I'm waiting for when these stats will update so we can see where the champion. Okay, they're updated. Okay, okay. I only lost 80 spots in the championship league. What? Who had the leader is now at 2490. God, you guys want to talk about a heartbreaker? The person that was in first in the league obviously doesn't watch RotoMoto or follow RotoMoto on socials, or they would know that Shane McElrath didn't race today. The person that came into the day in first place in the entire championship league had Shane McElrath on their team. They lost before it even started. Like, you can't give up points like that. Not like that. I don't even remember what their name was. It's going to be too hard to find. Anyway, so the top 100 cutoff is 2365. That's my goal for the year. Okay, I only lost a little bit. 2365. So I'm only 88 points out. That's not that could be worse. That could be worse. Jerry, Stewart, and Ferrandis. Serves them right. Serves them right. Exactly. You show the winner, but it was obvious something was about to happen. Yeah, I just don't understand, man. Not one word. Yep, not one word about Kevin Moran's. Can we just talk about I think that the broadcasts, and again, they get paid the bucks to do this. So, whatever. but I think they need to have somebody on. So you guys may have seen on like the Pulp show that JT will sometimes spot, like he spotted for them for the announcers the other race. They need to have somebody that spots for them, but they're just watching the leaderboard, because there's nothing worse than when you're watching on fantasy and you're watching the person literally drop from fourth to last and the announcers don't even acknowledge it. Like Ferrandis, well, they did Ferrandis today, but like that kind of situation where I'm like, why aren't we're not going to talk about it? We're not going to talk about this guy that just dropped from a top 5 position to dead last. We're just not going to mention him at all. Just nothing. Okay, cool, cool. I want to know how you lead the league, but would pick McElrath today, even if he wasn't hurt. No one on Leslie's team has impressed at all this year. I think the reason that they picked McElrath there is because McElrath missed the main last race, so they were probably hoping for a bounce back because his handicap was going to be a little bit higher. But I assumed he was going to be hurt. That's why I didn't have him on my team at all. I don't know. Yeah, like Amart. Rondog, perfect example. That's what I'm looking for. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about what happened to Amart. Nobody on camera caught that. We can't use that downtime between the 250 main and the 450 main to show some of the highlights that we may have missed during the live broadcast. I feel like it wouldn't be that hard. I feel like Ricky simply does not look at the track. He watches the screens, mails it in, and goes home. Yep. And I think that's the biggest problem. And I don't mean any disrespect, like, to Lee or Ricky or Ralph, but I just don't think they have the passion for the sport that I feel like Emig still had. And I feel like, Jeremy probably doesn't have as much anymore, but I think that's something that Weege has, is that you have to be passionate about it to be able to do it. Like, same with Roto. Like, I am passionate about this stuff. So I will always give you guys like the best, because as much as I'm doing it for you, I'm also doing it for me because I'm passionate about it. And I just don't think that Ricky or Lee or Ralph, for that matter, were like passionate about what their job is. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd be wishing for Fox Sports to come back. Oh man, yeah, that's true. They miss passes and crashes all the time. There's nothing I hate more than I'm like, you guys aren't gonna talk about that. What was it? There was one the other day or earlier this year that it happened on the screen, but it was like off the side. You know what I mean? It was on screen, but it wasn't in focus. And I'm like, hey, I think they just wrecked really bad. Are we not gonna? Okay, okay, all right. We need camera choice of battles like NFL. Yeah, I wish, Kalen, but I also know that that'll never happen. They'll never put the money in it to make that a thing, unfortunately. They can pay 50% of what they're paying and give. Ryan, I agree 100%. The booth guys have to watch the screen to a point, so they talk about what the viewers are seeing. Somewhere I think we each talked about that. No, 100%, Ryan, but I'm just like, there should be another person watching to say, I don't know, like, this person's dropping, maybe do something. Do you see Lee back next year? Oh, I don't see who they replace him with. So yeah, probably. And I like Lee. I think Lee's a consummate professional. Hey, did anybody watch Race Day Live and catch Hubbard call Malcolm Williams and then proceed to try to compare Marvin Muskin and Malcolm Stewart to the Williams F1 team? That was a stretch. That was a stretch. Like, it was, I don't know why. I will say Hubbard does a really good job that Blair doesn't do and Holly didn't do, of bringing in some of that like third party thing. Of they bring in, he mentions Pulp, he mentions Racer X, he mentions some of the stuff that is a little bit more on the fringe, where Daniel and Jim Holly never talked about Pulp Fantasy or the Pulp Show, or anything outside of like Rocky Mountain Fantasy and what Supercross website might say. You see, right? It still had I did not, Chad. I did not. I'll take my Daytona crash over this fantasy pain 100% of the time. I was right next to him after that crash, and he didn't feel good. Oh man, I need to talk to Grant. We've talked about it. This week's gonna be hell because I have to put out 2 videos in the next 5 days, just for fantasy. But I want to get Grant on now that he's playing fantasy. I want to get Grant on for a podcast to talk about fantasy as playing it, fantasy while being on the track, and like fantasy in the pits. You know what I mean? Seriously, whose dick do I have to suck for Weege to do 1 Supercross? Can we get Weege for like Monster Cup at least? Just do a little tryout. I went to the Spring a Ding race at Underground and watched Danger Boy so fast he looks like a miniature Cooper Webb. Oh, did they get a million? I saw that they're trying to do that. That's so rad. Like, we can't get Marvin's Crash. Yeah, nope, no, Jason, you can't. You can't. Here's what needs to happen is they need to have, man, I don't even care if they're cell phone cameras. You know what I mean? Let's get something where the top 8 guys, I don't say 8 just because all-stars, but whatever, the top 8 guys in the sport have a camera following them at all times. One camera always on Eli Cooper, Kenny, which they already are. And then, you know, Marv, AC, Osborne, Anderson, Malcolm. And then obviously, like, if one person's doing better, like AP's had a good couple rounds, maybe swap him in. So that way, no matter what, you have a camera on those guys. So if something happens to them, you've got something to see. Residency, yeah, I don't know why they were sending that home. I don't. What's worse though, residency or every time they talk about Cooper Webb being mad as a Hornet? They pick on these buzzwords and they just drive it home. I don't know. Was on point on the Twitter machine tonight. Yeah, for sure. DeFrancesco is super impressive also. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really follow the kids all that much because it feels like a major hype machine. How did the Roto League do? DM912. Oh, Lewis had a bad round. Good. Oh, Lewis, you choke master. Oh my god. Lewis, okay, we're kicking Lewis Phillips out of this league because he clearly doesn't watch the Roto videos, because one thing I told y'all not to do is to not pick Carson Mumford. And look at this team right here. What are you even doing, bro? 0, 0, 0, 2, 2. Ugh, dude, that is awful. That's what you get, Lewis, for not following RotoMoto on Twitter. But look at Green Mountain Flyer back up here, but DM912 still in the lead. Who won for the round? T Gilfett? Harrison Owen, Bloss and Lawrence. This was my early team. Maybe taking notes here. Davalos, Savachi, Roczen. I never had Dean on my team. Good ride for Dean. I never had him on my team. I didn't think he'd do that well. Savachi was a last minute addition for me. I swapped him in at the last minute over Tickle, and good thing I did. But good job for you guys. The over-under on residency was 56.5. Oh, God. Nearly every race has multiple mentions graphics of series points. The night will have a red plate swap. I didn't see it once. You know what? That's a good point. No, I did see it one time, Music. There was one time when they showed that as they ran, Ken would be 7 down. That happened once. Or Ken's mindset, yeah. Can we talk about Ken? Because even in his, I'd call it a podium interview, but he got 6th. He was very clearly projecting that it's not in his head. He was very clearly projecting that, oh yeah, no, and I just, I had a clean mind coming into the race, and I just got a bad start in the heat, or I just got a bad start. I had, the heat race really blew that for me, and I was like, when you lead with, oh yeah, I came in with a clear mind, you absolutely do not have a clear mind. Ken's quote about who has the points deficit has aged well. I hate to say it, but he's going to blow this title chance. Yep, Nate, 100%. Do you guys think if Ken blows this title, does he ever have another try? Does he ever win one? If he doesn't do it this year, does he ever get it done? And 2, if not, is Ken the greatest Supercross rider to never win a title? Or the most talented? Maybe we'll go with that. The only thing I got right tonight was that Dino would fade to 9th. Yeah. He was trying to convince himself. I agree 100%. It's just, and it's just one of those where, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't blame Cooper for playing mind games. I don't respect it. But that doesn't matter. Cooper Webb doesn't want my respect. He doesn't care. So I don't blame him. But, like, for me, I would rather see guys just beat him straight up. But that's not how it works. There are no asterisks because, like, oh, well, Cooper won, but he only won because he played mind games. Like, it doesn't matter. Title's a title. Cooper does what he's got to do to get it done. Ken's biggest weakness is his mental game, and Cooper knows how to take advantage and exploit it. So be it. You know what I mean? Wyndham never won. Do you think that Wyndham has more wasted potential than Ken did. Nice hat. I work for the agency. No, no shit. That's sweet music. Yeah, I love this hat. I actually was on their website today. Somebody asked me about it. They were like, "That where did you get it?" I actually wore this again because somebody said that I have. Travis Marks, what are you doing? I don't even have alert set up. I should have alert set up. Should I have alert set up? You want to die? Why do you want to die? Absolutely don't die. Travis Marks, thank you so much for the 99.99 super chat. How did you know what? No, I'll let you tell me how I do because I don't want to pull it up on the big screen. I don't want to pull it up on the Pog is right. Pog. Can I get some Pog champs in chat? Ken is way more talented than K-Dub. I agree. Who's Ken's mental coach? Apparently nobody. Wyndham better than Kenny. If not, it's damn close. Lusk swing. God, Ezra Lusk, man. Oh, I love Ezra Lusk so much. Tonight he did win with no head games and straight kicked everyone. Oh, for sure, Mark. But I think the difference is I think the head games are already done. I think his season. I think Ken is. Cooper did the work in the first 9 races with the head games to last for the last 8. You know what I mean? Poggies. Big Poggies. Travis Marks, thank you so much, dude. I seriously don't know how to say that anymore. As some of you may know, my computer literally caught on fire last weekend. About an hour before I had to have the cheat sheets up. It was a very stressful weekend. It was a very expensive and stressful weekend. But luckily I had a couple other people in the community be very generous and send me some cash because I'm a little cash strapped right now to get it back up and running because obviously I was able to get the cheat sheets done on our other computer, but it's not really good for like editing and rendering. It's not very powerful. It's something we have in the living room that we use to watch things that our smart TV doesn't have. You know what I mean? Why you play them is needed. Yep, exactly. K-Del was probably the most talented and unlikeliest. He had to deal with MC. Oh, man. Do you guys think... I've asked this before, and I haven't really got a concrete answer. I really wanted to ask this on the Pulp Show and get an answer, but I've sent this question in, but Tits just doesn't like me. So everybody knows that and Ricky admits out loud, he'll be the first to tell you, he was never the fastest. But nobody worked harder than Ricky. And he changed the game by having a trainer, by, working out, having a diet, doing all of this work. Do you think that Ricky would still be the GOAT if everybody took that seriously then like they do today? Because today, everybody spends 3 days a week at the practice track and eats healthy and does cardio and does all the training. Like if Ricky had to race against people that were taking it as seriously as he did, do you think he would have been as dominant? Did Dean know that was Coop or think it was Barsha revving? That's a good question, Ryan. That's a really good question. Why does Marks want to die? Marks wants to die because I bet he got a really, really, really bad score. Let me go and look. I asked him and he didn't want to tell me, so I guess we have to go and look now. Fun fact, if you ever want to go to all leagues, scroll down, go to admin, hit view leagues. Here they are. Look at these. Oh, come on, Mark. You're still in second. You can't even be that mad. He got bit by Jerry. He got bit by Jordan. He got bit by Ferrandis. And Bloss went down at the last second. He got bit by Bloss too. That is harsh. I feel you. Is Marks lucky or good? Marks isn't lucky or good. Marks watches RotoMoto on YouTube at RotoXMoto on Twitter and Instagram. RC just outworked everyone that came onto the table. No, it would have been a different game if Bubba wasn't worried about his TV show. You know what, Mark? I never thought about that. Yeah, I'll say it. I don't see Ricky as the GOAT. I think Stu is more talented. Ricky won more, but come on, it's Stu. I mean, I hate it because nobody, I'm not a Ricky fan. I never have been. I don't hate him. But I have to say that nobody has dominated the sport like Ricky did when Ricky did. McGrath obviously did it in Supercross, but not outdoors. He only had that one really good outdoor year. JT's name is Jason. It's just Jason. Jason Thomas, one word. JT had a 183. 0 from Marv, 2 from Ferrandis, 2 from Smith. At least we all have the same bullshit bad luck team, right? How can you see everyone's team? Tarj, you can do that. I just click on your name. Like over here, the people in chat. I guess I have to scroll it back in. If you're looking at people in chat, just click on their name. What did Tanner do? Tanner had a bad time. Hi, Tanner. If you're in here, hi, Tanner. Anybody can do this. I don't have any special privileges. Anybody can do this. You just have to click on it. MC put himself in position to not have to write outdoors at the right time. That's true. That's true. I got 148. I'm not lucky or good. No, but you're great. RC was a worker, but don't forget Fox was highlighting him in videos at 10 years old. That's true. That's true. Do you guys think, so we were talking about the fact that the last great lifer of somebody that was recruited at 12 years old was AC. And even then it took AC a very long time to get there before he and even then he still hasn't won a 450 title. And it seemed like especially KTM and Honda for that matter they were pretty much striking out with their highly touted amateurs of not paying off. Do you think that's over? Do you think we're gonna move on to a new realm where we stop signing these kids at 10 years old? It is, Trevor. It is a minor league team, yes. Or do you think that we're gonna keep doing it? Because Hammaker makes a good case. He won his 3rd race ever, and he was a lifer. Like Pro Circuits had him locked up for years. Who did Ricky really beat though? Besides a wild Stu, RC never wowed anyone. I don't know, Ryan, because it's one of those where at the same time somebody just said Wyndham is arguably in the conversation of the best to never win, and he raced against him. He did dethrone McGrath, even if it wasn't, I don't know, because I want to say an aging McGrath, but that was McGrath's eighth year. So McGrath, when Carmichael won, was what, roughly the same age that Roczen, Tomac, etc. are now? It's not that far off. Where do you see Faulkner? I just think Faulkner's a bust. It's hard to believe that Faulkner, this is his 5th season. That's insane to me. I don't know. Like, he has made no progress at all. And maybe he's been hurt, and maybe he keeps coming back in there hurt, etc., etc. But I just don't think. I mean, who would you sign? I asked this question on Twitter, and I picked Craig, J-Mart, and Faulkner because Craig and J-Mart and Faulkner are the 3 riders in the 250 that have expressed they want a 450 ride. Would you take Faulkner for your team? Would you want him? You know what I mean? Pull up the old Terra Firma TP. Is the most successful due to the fact that his family was a marketing. That's true. That's true. That's true. God, Ezra. Oh, I love Ezra so much. Ricky beat the King, held off Stu, shut Wyndham down, beat Lusk, held Reed down. I feel like I don't know. It's so weird. I just feel like there were a lot of really good riders in the era of Carmichael. Yeah, I mean, really, Carmichael beating Reed and Stu. I know that Stu eventually. I mean, to be fair, Stu never really got the best of Ricky. Ricky quit right before Stu ever put together a real good run. You know what I mean? Oh, Purcell. I forgot about Purcell, man. That's crazy. Faulkner can win. Jay Smith doesn't like that he can. Doesn't seem like he can. Jordan Smith, I just don't. Can we just agree? And McAdoo kind of breaks this here, but isn't it interesting that Pro Circuit, nobody can deny that Pro Circuit and Star Racing are the 2 big teams, right? Especially with Geico gone. Those are the cream of the crop. The title contenders are not the hired guns. Like Cooper and Colt Nichols were kind of, they've been on the team for a little while. And then McAdoo and Shimoda, it's not like Pro Circuit went out and poached them. They had nowhere to go and Pro Circuit welcomed in. But when you look at they signed J-Mart, they signed Christian Craig, and Pro Circuit signed Jordan. Like, they signed these guys to be the title guys, and they're not the title guys. I think that was a lot of money spent, and it's not gonna actually pay off. I don't know. Faulkner has a deal with Cowie, and Mitch has to give him a ride until his contract is up. Ah, Anderson is the new Bamderson. God, I didn't think Anderson's moves were dirty at all. Like I don't even think they were. I don't even think they were Bam Bam caliber. Like those, they were aggressive, sure, but they were total racing moves. I don't know. Oh, Stu was the fastest man on the plane. Agreed, agreed. But RC never had to worry about beating Stu because he knew Stu would beat himself. Shimoda long term will be a better rider. I agree. Shimoda gives me Sexton vibes, and Sexton gave me Dungy vibes. Um, where like yeah, they don't have to go out and win every single thing all the time. There's no reason to go out and be blazing fast, especially in the 250 class. If you just stay on two wheels, apparently you're going to get a title. Malcolm's move was absolutely disgusting, Kevin. I don't know what Malcolm was hoping to see because there was no way he was going to stick that move at all. And I have no idea what Malcolm was doing. Like he was either gonna take both of them down or not. Who's taking Fry and Thrasher's bikes next year? They're just not doing it, man. They're just not doing it. Hey, real quick, does it feel like maybe the playing field has been leveled? Because the last 2 years, the Star Bike was clear the best bike in the class, and it wasn't even close. But Cooper's great at starts. Craig's great at starts. It's no longer like they are not that extra step above the class like they've been. I think it's pretty even at this point. They're still great bikes, obviously, but I don't think that it's if you're on a Star Yamaha, you're gonna win anymore. I see Shimoda and Sexton battling for fourth. I agree 100%. 100%. Stu had the best style and he won, and he had a win or two. Yeah. They even thought his throttle was stuck. Well, because it definitely looked, I'm not going to lie, like when I saw it, I was like, how? I don't, it definitely, it was such a bad move that it didn't look like there was no way that he did that on purpose, but I think he did. Mitch, yeah, they do though. Mookie almost broke his shoulder. He landed hard on the concrete. He flew, man. We seem to forget the mighty RV. How could you forget about the mighty RV? But is that talent over bike? The fact that the star bikes aren't winning anymore. I even just mean off the start. My biggest thing with outdoors, and this might be sacrilege to some of you guys, so please don't crucify me. I think that the teams are definitely shifting to Supercross only. I think dumping Masterpool is a perfect example of that. I don't think it matters how good, unless Thrasher comes out and wins the title. I don't think it's good enough to be good at outdoors anymore. I think that teams would much rather have a guy that is a podium contender indoor that just shows up outdoor than having a guy that is a podium contender outdoor that cannot race Supercross. One in the flat 180 corners era. What an era, man. Stock throttle. Mick changed the board stroke. God. Oh, yeah, we can change the board stroke and everything. I see more of Dungy and McAdoo than Sexton. Not the greatest talent, but the quiet determination and attitude. I guess I just mean that Sexton gives me the late years of Dungy, where Sexton won the title. And a lot of people could say he didn't deserve it, blah, blah, blah. But going out and getting second and third every weekend is a legitimate path to the title. Especially when everybody else is playing pinball around you. I don't feel bad for Pro Circuit, though. They had the fastest bike for many years. Oh, yeah, they did. RV got tarnished due to his whiskey throttle at Euro. See, Mark, I don't even think of that. I don't know. For me, the GP years feel more like they felt more like a honeymoon. I don't know. The PC 250s, yeah. If I could have a brand new bike, if anybody out there wants to buy me a brand new bike for no reason other than you just really think that I'd like one, I want one of the new Cowie 250s for sure. I need an electric start. I'm getting too old to kick a bike when I go down, and I go down way too often. I officially stink at Supercross 4. Yeah, hey, who has the new Supercross game? Have you guys been playing it? It's okay. That's all I got. That's all I've got is it's okay. There's a lot of things they changed that are bad. The AI is better, the physics are better. They improve that every year. There is a lot of bad. Ryan, let me tell you something. I have yet to put a single point in my skill tree. And I went first, third, first, I think, in the All Stars, and I got sixth or seventh in the first 250 round. And I'm like, does this skill tree even matter? I'm not sure there's a difference. I could definitely feel the difference from when I went from my stock Suzuki to the nuclear blast team solitaire Yamaha. Like I could definitely feel the difference there with the bike, but I don't think there's much. I don't think there's enough difference in the stats. I don't think it does anything. Is it just me or would anybody else be surprised if Kenny retires? I agree. I think Eli too. I don't know what it is, man. Like these guys come out and have kids. Things change, and I don't blame them. I'm not a kid person. How about you guys? I don't want kids. I don't have any interest in them. When I was younger, I did, but now that I'm older, I'm too selfish for that. Um, I don't want to have to find a babysitter to go do fun stuff. Anyway, I feel like it's a bad idea to have a kid. I think it's bad for your career in moto to have a kid. I think because your priorities change. All of a sudden, you might not want to push as hard. You don't want to get hurt. You want to go home and see the kid. You're not riding for you anymore. You're riding for a family unit. And I feel like that's a negative. I think I see other people saying that as like a positive, but I'm like, I don't know, man. That might be when you might just want to give it up because you're tired of getting hurt. You're tired of being on the road all the time. Kenny gonna have to take it outdoors off again to even. Probably, Nate. Yeah, that's probably right. Having a kid made me know what I had to do on the weekend, but that was flat track and road racing. God, flat track's so much fun, Mark. I love flat track. Can we get some flat track fantasy? I wish I could start it. I don't have that kind of pull though. Kenny gonna have to take out. Oh, I got that one. I think Marv is definitely retiring. The thing is, Al, is even if he doesn't retire, does Red Bull want him back? Do you want Marv? He's clearly past his prime, and that's not. It's. I'm not even being mean here. This is just the nature of the sport. Cooper's the number one guy. Cooper's a veteran. Having Marv on the other bike doesn't do Cooper any favors. But Red Bull could already be grooming the new Cooper. Who would you want if you were Red Bull KTM and you let Marv go after this season? Who do you want? Who do you put on that bike? Do you snag J Mart, Craig, Forkner, or do you snag McElrath? I don't know who else is up for Savachi, I guess, but he's already. I don't. I think they already know what you're gonna get out of Savachi, and they're not interested in that. I heard Osborne. So yeah, Josh. I mean, and these guys were. It's gonna be interesting because what Osborne and Muskin are both over 30, which is not that old by the way, but just they're both over 30. Um, Brayton is obviously over 30. Like I could see all three of them wrapping up this year. Eli and Kenny, 2 years max, maybe. Baggett's out, I imagine. I think he's gonna legit just stay gone. It's gonna be nice and refreshing. It's gonna take a little while, but in 2 or 3 years, we're gonna have Webb's gonna be the veteran of the class, and then we're gonna have AC and Ferrandis and McElrath. Maybe Hartrath gets a better ride. Savachi, like those are gonna now be the core that moves up. It's gonna be really cool. I'm excited. Whackers on Red Bull KTM. I love Cameron McAdoo so much. All their talent in the States is on Husky or Gas Gas. You think so? I mean, you say that as if Cooper Webb's not winning the title right now. MC did fine on the No Kids and Bang and Everything program in the 90s. I was trying to explain that at MCG. I was trying to explain that to some friends. I watch the race with a couple buddies in a voice call that are all over the world, and a lot of them aren't super into Supercross. I actually got them into the sport via fantasy, and I was trying to explain to them because they weren't there. I was like, yeah, Ricky. I just said I hated Ricky, and they kind of laughed, and I was like, he changed everything, man. It used to be the Emig days where he would go out and he would win a Supercross, and he would go and get in a jacuzzi with a bunch of topless women and just pound beers. Like, Ricky ruined the fun in Supercross. Oh. Anstey to Red Bull? Absolutely not. I that'd be cool, but and as good as he would be outdoors, I don't think he has. I don't think he has what it takes. Also, he's already too old. I think they want to go younger. I would see if they were gonna do that. I would see Savachi moving up and then putting Anstey on the Rocky Mountain bike. I think Shimoda's screwing himself by being so consistent. He's going to end up like Mookie or Bogle pointed out with no ride. I think he'll be fine. I think people will want to give him a ride. Again, Al, you got to think Shimoda has what, 2 more years after this minimum. By that time, we're probably going to have Tomac, Roczen, Osborne, Marv, Brayton. 3 of those guys are probably going to be gone. Ricky and 4-strokes ruin the sport. I don't mind 4-strokes. This might be an unpopular opinion. You guys are going to unfollow me. I am here and I am ready and I welcome the electric bikes, man. Sign me up. I'm okay with it. I would love to. I live in town. I would love to be able to ride a bike in town, but you know, I still love 2-strokes. I grew up racing 2-strokes. I've actually never. No, that's not true. I raced my 400 4-wheeler, but I've never raced a 4-stroke dirt bike. But Fresno Smooth Life, man. I may have been in Lake Havasu. uh we are entering the Sexton Ferrandis ACR, and it's gonna be great, man. Brayton ain't going nowhere. Brayton's gonna be 43 years old, still out there every weekend. I would not be surprised if Brayton makes appearances like Reed does. Weege will fight you. That you know what? I will accept his challenge. Just need to be able to go 100 miles on him. Yeah, that's fair. If there's an electric supermoto, I am 100% in. I am so in when the electric super, because Alta had one, but they're just too expensive right now. It'll come down. Since I watched the race with you, we just talk more of the time anyway. I barely listen to the race. That's true. Well, that's because Harper. That's because I'm better than the announcers. Our conversation is better than the announcers. I'd love to buy an electric bike, and I've got 100 acres in the middle of nowhere. Covert Moto, yeah. Yeah, man. And it's going to suck because they are heavy. And I don't know if you guys have watched AJ Catanzaro rode one. He's the only pro that I know that has documented riding one other than straight rhythm. And he brought up that it was very challenging because normally you can shift to kind of modulate your speed, because if you're in third, it has a max. If you're in fourth, it has a max. But when there's no gears, you have to definitely be a lot more control with your hand. But I don't know. I'm in on it. Somehow leading the Champions League and the industry. Taylor, congratulations. Don't make sure to check the ins and outs. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the person that came into this race in the championship lead had McElrath on his team. And he sent it, and he did not ride today, as a lot of you already know. What's the gold thing over your right shoulder? This right here, that is a WCW championship belt. It's a replica. It's for children. It's just a stupid prop to put on the shelf in the background. I think if we probably annoy everyone talking over the race, but like the announcers aren't that great. They're not. It's bad. No sound, no good fuel smell. I love the VP race fuel. Oh, Michael, I was talking to a friend about that, about going to the races. There's no greater thing than when you walk into Lucas Oil Stadium, because that's the only place I've watched Supercross. And you open the doors and you just smell it and you can hear it, and oh man. What's the prize for winning? Tars, cold hard cash, $10,000. It's amazing looking. Yeah, it's just a kid's prop, but if I ever won anything fantasy, maybe I would put, get a roto belt made, but what are we gonna do with that? What's the prize, the weekly prize? It's also cash, Tars. I'm not sure the amount. But it's all cash. 125 hole shots are the best sound ever. Yes. I hate it. I wish I could ride to the level to make a 125 fun again, because I would love to get rid of my 250 and get another 125, just if nothing else because of how light they are. But I had a 125 for a few months before I got my 250. I didn't have a bike for a long time. Like I stopped racing when I was 11 or 12. and I did not have a dirt bike. And that's not true. I had an 80 for a hot minute, but I didn't seriously ride from when I was 11 or 12 until I was like 29. And I got a 125. And I quickly realized that I'm like, I can't ride this. Like, I can't ride this to a way that would make me enjoy it because I'm no longer interested in like riding. You have to ride those things way harder than I want to ride at my age. You know what I mean? So I never thought I'd be looking for a Suzuki 4-stroke, but there I was. Talked to Josh Hill and he said that Alta needed a lot of work still, even though he rips it like he does. For sure. I do know Josh, and again, this isn't much, but like Catanzaro did do lap times, and he was faster on the Alta than he was on his 450, but it was also just like a rinky-dink little track. It wasn't a pro track or anything like that. I race ice over sleds, and the smell of that race feels so good. I bet that'd be rad. That would be nice if I rode that well. Yeah, 250 for the weekly win and 150 per second. Nice, Trevor. That's rad, dude. I won one time last year. You know what's crazy is I finished 157th overall in the championship league, and I only won a single prize in Industry Idiots, and it was like $20. Like I had to split a tie for like the bottom prize. Oh, I was talking to my friends though today, and I still like playing the game, but I do this. I don't want to be like I do this for you like I'm a martyr, but at this point, I am way more concerned about giving you guys good advice, and I am way more stressed about the guys I told you to pick or not than I am my own actual team. Like when Carson Mumford was sucking it up, I was like, at least I told people not to pick Carson Mumford today. At least I told people to stay away from Carson. I told you guys to pick Cooper, and he almost maxed out. I told you not to pick Mumford. I told you to go with your heart with Ken, which was kind of a cheap one. And then I said to pick, who did I say to pick on the 450s? I don't even remember anymore. I imagine that I had them on my team. Oh, I told you to pick Ferrandis, and that obviously didn't work out. That was kind of out of everybody's control, though. Don't you wish at least you had? Yeah, like I wish I had the plate, but also they don't make plates for that. I didn't do as good. Oh, Jamie, I crushed her. She had 33 points in the 250 class. She had Jerry, Jordan Smith, Alex Martin, and I don't even remember who her all-star was. And Justin Cooper. She got crushed. So she got 0, 2, and 8 points from her 3 non-all-stars. That just goes to show you how bad it can be. Love Dan's picks. I didn't even see Dan's. Oh, picks. No, those picks. Yeah. I love it. I love it because I know way too many of those people that he sends in it, and I'm like, oh, Dan, you have good taste. I also really enjoy Asa Akira. Did anyone else pick Cheyenne Harmon? Josh, I didn't, but I looked at him hard. I did look at Cheyenne. I thought about making another account and taking all your advice and see what happens. You should be taking all my advice anyway, Harper. Watch Mumford get 14th and get max points on Tuesday. I don't know what's up with the kid, man. I feel really bad because I like Carson Mumford. I like him as a person. I think he's a talented rider. But I don't know, maybe he also has a really weak mental game. But I tell you what, Cody Schock absolutely ripping on this same exact bike is not doing any favors for Carson's mental game. Carson has to be absolutely losing it. Oh, man. I can't stop the other things, but I shouldn't have chose Jerry. You shouldn't pick Jerry. I picked Jerry because I needed to make up points. And obviously I didn't, but he must be. Tars, he must be. But can we just talk about it? We need these riders to be more transparent about their injuries. I talked about it with my friends earlier where it's insane to me that a guy will go out there, struggle, then on Wednesday of the next week, he'll post on Instagram and say, oh yeah, I hurt my shoulder last week in a practice crash, so I wasn't 100% at the race. And I'm like, why wouldn't you tell us that? I just don't understand why they don't disclose that they're feeling bad. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm not saying they have to come out and do a full report, But just be honest and say like, hey, a little banged up coming in. Who was it? It was Starling. Justin Starling is the only one I've seen that literally came out and said, hey, don't pick me this weekend. I'm not feeling great. Like, please give me more of that. Oh. I was around Cody Shock pretty much his whole amateur career, never saw that coming. Yeah, Josh. And that's what I hate is that I said I didn't have him on my radar and somebody was offended. I'm like, no. Like, I think he's a good rider, but like, I did not have him top 10 Supercross. I did not have him in All-Star in Supercross. Not even close. No way. I looked at Jerry's finishes. Oh, I got that. Yeah, the qualities and experts are making traps. They really are. And here's the thing. I give you guys the cheat sheets, and I don't want you to not use them. But I say this on all of the live videos. Do not take them too seriously. You need to like, if a guy qualifies way, don't look at the place, look at the times. So for example, let's look at the 250 one here. I know that's really big. I'm gonna zoom it out. So like, okay, here we go. So, you know, when you're looking at this, Jerry qualified really well. Actually, you know, let me show you guys. Hold on. Let me show you the enhanced cheat sheet because that has the data that I want. 250 West cheat sheet. That's what I want. Give me that. Okay. So this is, by the way, this is what the Patreon gets. If you're interested in subscribing to the Patreon, you get number, name, session, qualifying time, how far off they were, their position handicap. This stuff's normal, but then like color coded on what riders to look at, their average finish, qualifying, how far they improve or fall back every race. What's their average start? What's their average heat race finish? What's their average LCQ finish? How many mains do they make? How often do they come out of the heat? How often do they go to the LCQ? How often do they miss the main? Their qualifying times in session 1, session 2. How much did they improve? How many spots did they improve? And then their stats over the last few races. Anyway, when you look at this, like, yeah, Jerry qualified 13th, but look at the parity here. 10th to 23rd. We're within 7/10 of a second. 7/10 of a second. Like, I don't think you guys realize how fast 7/10 of a second is. Pull out your stopwatch right now on your phone or whatever it is. Start it and stop it. Like, literally start it and stop it as fast as you can. That's like 7/10 of a second. That's how close these guys are. So the only thing you should be concerned of, like Wageman qualifying 24th, not a concern. The only reason I didn't pick Wageman is because he was in that super stacked heat. If Robbie would have been in heat 1, auto locked for me. But he was on heat 2, so I was like, I don't know. There's 6 All-Stars in that heat, and there's Thrasher and Fry, which are on amazing bikes. I don't know how I feel about it. How much time do I spend? Jamie, I don't really want to tell you. I don't really want to talk about it. Luckily now, it doesn't take nearly as much time for me because I have this built. But me building this, so I have the 250 East, West, and 450. These are the logs. This is just where I type in all the information. And then these pages are automated. So when I type it into those pages, it automatically puts this page for me. So I don't have to do as much work here. Then this spits out this, which is what I use for the general cheat sheet. But then I go over to Illustrator, which is my like designing software, and Illustrator is what I use to make this. Kevin, dude, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for that $10 super chat. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. I don't even know what to say. It's so weird when people do that, but I really, really, really appreciate it. But I'm just happy that people want this kind of information. I'm happy that I can provide value to you guys, no matter what it is. That is amazing. Thank you. But yeah, I have hundreds of hours, and I'm not even exaggerating. I have hundreds of hours in getting all of these formulas to be perfect. And some of you guys may have been around with Roto early last year that a lot of the cheat sheets they were all minor, but they would have little errors in them. But now I have it where it's practically foolproof. Like, I just have to type in the qualifying times, the handicaps, etc., and it spits out the data for me, and I just have to look at it and make sure that there's nothing that's nothing that's really a muck. I definitely spend way more time making the video than I do anything else. The video takes me probably 8 to 10 hours per race between researching it, compiling all the stats, making all the graphics, writing a script. Like it takes me an hour and a half to write the script probably. Film it, edit it, make the thumbnails, like send it all out. That's definitely the biggest time sink. The Patreon is a lot easier. Why did you change your name from last year? Trevor, 2 reasons. One, I didn't like that it was too similar to Racer X. I didn't want people to think I was affiliated with Racer X, and I didn't want to write Racer X like I didn't want to ride their coattails. I didn't want that to be a thing. That's really the big one. And Racer or RotoX was originally short for Rotocross. It was originally Rotocross, and I just changed it to RotoX to make it shorter. And then I don't know. I just thought that RotoMoto was a better alliteration. As soon as I can afford lunch again, I'll get on the Patreon. Hey, I appreciate it, Mark. I appreciate it. Times are tough. Nobody exert yourself if you don't have it. I know what it's like. I am struggling so bad right now. I'm just trying to get through April. A lot of you guys know I have my own business. I make decals for car people, and last year was rough. We didn't have a lot of events. COVID shut down a lot of our revenue avenues, like tens of thousands of dollars. So kind of just had to limp through the winter. And then our first event, I think, is April 18th, I think it is. Right around that, whatever weekend that is. So, like, I feel it. It's rough. That's why, like, the computer blowing up was a real mega terrible thing that happened. It sounds good. Great choice. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm also, I tinker. I don't know if anybody else has this. I tinker way too often. I am way too prone to... I'm constantly rebranding, coming up with new logos, new designs. Like I'm always wanting to make new stuff and better stuff. And I have this idea. Let me do it. You got an event in April. Yes. Hopefully, if all goes well and it doesn't get canceled or anything. But yeah, and if anybody wants, if you ever want to support the channel, but you don't want to do Patreon and you don't want to just straight like donate money, we have a website, rotomoto.co, and there's a merch store. We have Monster Cross Super Energy. Let me screw this in a little bit. Never Change AMA. We've got logo, tees, hats, book bags, whatever. If there's anything that you want, if you want to buy something, if you think you have a cool design and you want to buy it, like I do graphic design. That's my livelihood. So like I would love to do it. The Never Change AMA was a pure joke and it works. I do not do graphics for bikes. I tried one time. I don't have the means to print them, but I tried designing it one time, and I realized that I'm just not very good at it. It's definitely its own special skill, I guess. So I went to 180 decals. What's Nagy? Alexander Nagy's a rider. I made 2 of these. Somebody asked if I would make a Nagy Nation shirt, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll make a Nagy Nation shirt. And if you buy one, I'll give $10 from each shirt to the rider. And so they did. So that was really cool. That was really cool. I would love to do this if this is the means, but have an entire store dedicated to privateer t-shirts. And that way, instead of every privateer having to try to fund their own merch, we could just have one store where you could buy all of the non-team merch. Like, I think that'd be really cool. I don't know about you guys or how often you buy merchandise from your favorite riders, but I thought that'd be something really cool to look into maybe next year. Do a privateer profile mall. Oh, all right, let me stretch this back over and stretch this back over. There we go. All right, let me look at a couple more things. What was I gonna do? Oh, let's look at percentages real quick. Who picked what? Let's look at our zero scores. Biggest zero score, Jerry and Mumford, of course. Hardy Munoz. 9% of people had Pierce Brown, and he didn't even ride. Have you approached any of the privateers? I have not, Jamie, because that's something that I don't have the time for right now. and I don't want to get in over my head because with my car show season popping up, I'm gonna be extremely busy. I have to make about 1,000 decals um, over the next few weeks. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait. And then once we get on the other side of this, I'd like to do it maybe for outdoor or at least make this a goal to shoot for 2022. Need a Chiz gonna Chiz shirt. Ron, I want to talk to Chiz about making shirts. Do a collab with the Chiz man. Maybe I can get him on for a podcast too. Okay, can we talk about real quick? I understand people picking Brown because he was a late scratch. People picking Thury and Hicks is fine. Who the hell's picking Ryan Sipes? You guys might have noticed on the Instagram stories or Twitter fleets that I put Sipes as being listed as out. And I had to do that because I knew somebody was going to pick Sipes, even though he's not riding at all because he was only doing Daytona. And what do you know? Sipes. Crown, out, injured. Carson Brown, out, injured. Cantrell, injured. Alex, injured. Martin, injured. Oh, these 0.2% of people picking Ryan Peters. What do you think the odds are they were trying to pick Kyle Peters? Falk injured. Schwartz injured. Nick Gaines didn't show up. Derek Drake is injured. Costello's injured. Oh, man. 450s. How many people picked McElrath? 6% of people picked McElrath. Didn't ride. Oldenburg, 5%. Didn't ride. Osborne, 1%. Been out for weeks. Dude, this is why I do what I do, is for these people. I just don't understand, man. It's so frustrating. Oh. So who's your favorite privateer? My biggest problem, Trevor, is that the term privateer is thrown around so loosely these days that I don't know, like, would you consider SGB and PRMX and TPJ privateers? Because that's technically a team, even if it's not like a team. I feel like once upon a time a privateer was like a literal person doing it on their own, and today it feels like privateer just means they're not on a big enough team. But I would say, man, I really like Grant Harlan. Does he count? Will you let me have Grant Harlan? Don't pick on them. They are the only people I outscore. All right, Michael, my bad. We got to have these people. Somebody's got to finish last, right? And if these people stop setting their lineup, then it's got to be one of us. So that's fair. That'll work out. 25% of people picked 250 FFL. Wait, was it Swole, right? It was Swole. Who the hell actually picked him? No, it was Hammaker. Wow. That's crazy. 1 out of 5 people picked Cooper Webb. That's also crazy. Those are big numbers. That's the players battling for 7-point low. Oh yeah, let me show you. So because we asked about that earlier. Yeah, there's always somebody down here trying to literally get last. Like, look, he literally picked. Who are these people? He picked guys that were out. Everybody here was out. Actually, interestingly, he picked... No, Richard Taylor didn't make the top 40. He picked everybody that was out, and then he picked Osborne because he's out, and then he picked Cody Schock because he thought he'd be the least scoring all-star. I don't know why this guy does this. This person created a brand new account just to do this. Whatever. Who knows why? Early picks for Tuesday. Nate, let me look. So obviously we don't know their handicaps, but look for bounce back riders. It's always a good idea to look for bounce back riders. So I always look at these people here that missed the main. Kyle Peters is probably going to be a bounce back. I like Kyle Peters if he's straight up. I don't like him in a negative. Jace Owen should have done much better. I like Jace Owen. Alex Martin should be on everybody's team. Jordan Smith, if you can pick him, and because he didn't appear hurt. Do not pick Jerry Robin under any circumstances. I can't. Good job for Ty Masterpool making the main. That was really cool. For All Stars. For All Stars, I'll probably take McAdoo. He should go up to a 2. Um, no, they'll probably leave him at a 1. If he's a 1, I won't take him. Give me Marchbanks at a 3. Because Marchbanks might even go up 1. 450s. Hey, if you can pick Dylan Ferrandis, don't pick Benny. No. Do pick Benny Bloss because he's every other weekend. So I'm not even kidding, guys. I'm literally not kidding. Let me tell you how Benny Bloss has done this. Okay, so starting with the first race of the year, he went 19th, 15th, double points, 19th, 13th, double points, 22, 14, double points, 19, 18, double points, 20. So this is the week to pick Benny. Every other week, Benny scores double points. So that'll be a good pick. Don't hold me to it. Man, this 450 class is getting tight. Because I'm not interested in Brayton. He'll probably stay at a 3, but he's still going to be beat up. Chiz loses a lot of his value. Anderson's an all-star now. Sexton will go negative. If you can pick Marty and Savachi, I think they're good picks. Pick everybody I picked this week. Pick next week is what I'm trying to say. Or pick on Tuesday. Yo, look at A-Ray maxing out. What a man. 17th place. Good for him. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw or not, but Osborne confirmed that he's hoping to be back for Atlanta. So Osborne is definitely going to be out for at least 3 or 2 more races. So make sure to keep that in mind. I doubt AC comes back before then either. I don't know. That's a good question. This is hard. This is hard. I don't like any of it. Vince Freeze got 11th. I didn't even realize that. Good for Freeze. I think it might be time to consider Cade a guy that is a main event guy. He's made 4 of the last 6. He wrote, did you guys see? I retweeted his post. He made it through that LCQ on a flat tire. He got a flat tire with 2 laps to go, and he put it through. He rode for 2 laps on a flat tire and still qualified out of the LCQ. What an absolute legend. Love that for him. I always have Cade on my radar. I really like Cade, and I haven't picked him yet because I don't. I say I don't like picking guys that don't really make the main, and then I pick Jerry Robin. Such as it is. But I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna go eat some. I haven't eaten since 11 a.m. So I'm gonna go have dinner. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This is absolutely my favorite thing ever that I do. Honestly, the after show is probably my favorite thing that we do. Look for the video Monday. Monday night, I'll have the video up for the race on Tuesday. We'll do another after show on Tuesday if you guys are interested. Hey, don't forget the time's about to change. The time changes in like an hour and a half or something. Daylight savings time. So we'll see you on Tuesday. It'll be a little later than normal, obviously, because the race I think will start at 8. And so we'll do the after show from 11 to midnight. But thank you guys for being here. Be good people. I'll see you on the other side. Later, guys.